Hello and welcome to PodCatalyst, a podcast dedicated to emerging trends and thought leadership within the communication profession. I'm Peter Finn, Executive Director of the International Association of Business Communicators, or IABC. For this PodCatalyst interview, I spoke with Zora Artis about the 2022 World Conference in New York City. Zora is the current chair of the IABC World Conference Program Advisory Committee, or some folks call it the PAC. They are tasked with the strategy and content for the conference, among other responsibilities. For those who don't know Zora, she is Australia's leading alignment, brand, and communication strategist, working with boards and executives to unlock value in their organizations, people, and brands to drive performance. She is the CEO of Artis Advisory and co-founder of the Alignment People, based in Melbourne, Australia. In addition to being the current chair of the PAC, the Program Advisory Committee, Zora is the past chair of the IABC Asia Pacific region, former IABC Global Board Director, and a Gold Quill Blue Ribbon Panel Evaluator. She's a recipient of the IABC Chairs Award 2020 and 2015, and the Region Leader of the Year 2020. And most recently, Zora was bestowed the highest honor at IABC by being made an IABC Fellow. This is certainly a well-deserved honor. Zora has she really is a super volunteer at IABC, and the work that she's put in as the chair of the Program Advisory Committee has been exemplary, and we appreciate all the efforts of the team working on a conference where we have not been in person for well over 2 years. So I think you'll enjoy the conversation with Zora. It's great to get her insights. She's been going to the World Conference for several years, and it's just great to get her perspective on what's in store for this year. So I think you'll enjoy the conversation. Zora, thanks so much for joining me today to talk about, I want to talk about World Conference and just hear a little bit about what's in store for the World Conference in New York City in June. But I just, to get started, can you just tell us a little bit about your role? I know you are the chair of the Program Advisory Committee, and what does that mean for World Conference and for some of the work that you do?
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for having me and giving me the opportunity to talk to you today with regards to the World Conference, IABC 2022 in New York City. My role is the chair of the Program Advisory Committee, and by that means I lead a group of very talented, enthusiastic and passionate individuals from across the world, and we're putting together the World Conference. We're reimagining what that looks like, what that feels like, and what that will be like in June this year. So we're responsible for the theme, the content, bringing together the speakers, the experience, how well it works, connecting people and helping people to learn about business communication and each other and share and just connect after 2 years of not being able to do so.
Yeah, and that's, I think like the big thing for me is that I have yet to go to a World Conference in person. So I am very, very excited about that.
You'll love it.
That's what I've been told. The virtual events have been great. But there's just cannot replace for everyone to be there in person and connecting and learning from one another. But what got you involved in this role? And I know you're kind of a long-term volunteer. You've done, I think, worn several different hats within as an IABC leader. But I was just curious, how did you get interested in the World Conference and come into this role?
With IABC, there's a term that we use called voluntold, which means that someone taps you on the shoulder and says, "Oh, I think you'd be great at this."
Yeah.
And when the then chair or vice incoming chair said to me, "I think you would be fantastic at helping us put together the World Conference. Would you like to step in?" And I was at that stage of volunteering when I was finishing up as one of the leaders in the Asia Pacific region. And I thought, yep, why not? My very first conference was in 2013, and that was in New York. And I had been a member for just under 2 years. I was the president of the local chapter. And it was one of those eye-opening experiences when I came in as a newbie and just discovered this amazing world of connection and warmth and lots of learning at IABC World Conference. And I thought, I really need to get involved with this. The next year, I was involved with the Toronto conference. I was on the program advisory committee, so I was involved in that. And ever since then, I've been involved in some ways. There are opportunities where you can be a room host, and I've done that. And so, I've got to meet some of the most amazing speakers, got to know them, made some incredible connections, all that sort of thing. And I've been at every conference since New York, including the in-person and the virtual. I've presented at conferences. I've delivered the Strategic Advisor Forum, the masterclass on the Sunday. I've been involved quite a lot, and the opportunity to lead this and to do it differently was just too good to pass up.
And you're just kind of thinking back to the past conferences. Is there a certain moment that sticks out as, just of the years that you've attended that have just, really kind of been special for you?
There was actually at New York. And the current past chair of the PAC is Jane Mitchell. And it was the first time I met Jane. I was, as I said, I was a newbie, didn't know a great deal of people. Yeah. And it was one of those refreshment breaks that you have. And I was sitting down having a cup of tea and talking to a lady from Long Island. And there were 2 spare seats, and 2 people came along and who knew the other person and asked to join us. And Jane sat down and a fellow called Bill. And I was chatting away to them. They were so friendly, really, really nice. And I didn't have my glasses on, so I couldn't see the name properly or the name. And I could only see the first name large. And so I was thinking, this Bill fellow is really, really interesting. And when he wasn't looking, I stared at his name tag. And his name was Bill Quirk. Now, Bill Quirk is someone that I look up to. So for me, it was one of those moments. It's almost like you're a fan meeting a hero. And when I did a Master of Marketing many moons ago, and one of my elective subjects was change communication. And one of the books in that was written by Bill Quirk, and it was a book that I used regularly when I finished that Master's. And so meeting the author of this book that I used as a Bible was to me just one of those moments. And I went back to the apartment where I was staying, where my husband and kids were. And I said, "Oh my God, you won't believe this." And they said, "What?" I said, "I met Bill Quirk." And they said, "Who?" I said, well, you're not in comms. You wouldn't know. But oh my God, it was one of those moments. And that to me is really special.
Yeah. And, not everyone knows this right now, but the theme of the World Conference is Communication Can. And I was hoping maybe you could provide a little information, thoughts about how you developed that theme and what it means to you and what you think it'll mean to those that are participating in the conference.
Each year we try and come up with a theme and, sort of to guide the speakers, to guide the content, to create interest in the conference. And this year we thought, is there a theme that has longevity, that can last beyond 1 year, that makes sense over time? And I thought, is there a way that we can really bring the purpose of IABC to life? And the purpose of IABC is to use the power of communication to deepen understanding, inspire action, and transform our worlds. And when I was talking with a creative team, what we found was one thing that is really, really strong is the simplicity of language. Yep. Communication can, with the ellipsis following it or before it, opens up the possibility of what communication can do and what communication actually also does. So we wanted to show the power of communication and show it in a way that's quite tangible and it's open to interpretation. So it can work from a connection perspective, it can work for inspiration, it can work in terms of behavior change. There are so many different things that we can tie to it that works. So when we put this theme together, when we've put it out there, when we've asked speakers to show how they can show us how communication can do whatever it is, they really came to the party. So it's really quite inspiring to see the sort of speakers that we have got and the way that we've been able to create a program that is just incredibly diverse, and it brings together people with different backgrounds, of different disciplines, of different experiences, different thinking, and it's just going to be an amazing event.
And what will be different, for this year versus maybe when folks were together in Vancouver in 2019, are there some things different about the program that you're really excited about and other members of the PAC or Program Advisory Committee?
Well, Vancouver was an amazing conference. It was very, very special. And, I take my hats off to the local chapter in British Columbia who were instrumental in helping IABC put that together. And it was just an incredible experience. It was fabulous. New York is iconic. New York is a place where everyone wants to be. So we knew that we had this amazing opportunity to really create something special. So like with many other organisations, we've taken the time to really look at what works, what doesn't work, what could we do better. So we've completely reimagined the conference. So if you've been to a conference before, this will not be the same. It will be different. We have adjusted the format a bit. So we start the conference with our opening keynote on the Monday, not the Sunday, but we do have our welcome reception on the Sunday. We've got 2 masterclasses on the Sunday. There is the Strategic Advisor Forum, which is targeted towards those who want to elevate their skills as strategic advisors and leaders. And we'll also be doing a digital acumen masterclass, which is new. We'll also have that opportunity to provide communication professionals with the opportunity to give back to nonprofits as we usually do. But what's really exciting is that we have 5 general sessions where we have 2 really inspiring keynotes, top and tail. And then on the Monday and Tuesday, we have 3 plenary sessions, 2 panels. One's looking at the communication professional of 2030. What do they look like? What are the skills that they're going to need to have? What do they need to change to be able to evolve? We're looking at the issue of climate science and how communication can help that, which we think is really, really interesting and an important area to focus on. And we're also looking at how we can be a bit more provocative in one of our sessions as well, and looking at the difference between influence and intelligence. So that's really exciting. We have over 70 speakers. The style of sessions that we have is different to how we've done it before. We have interactive, shorter sessions. We have in-depth interactive workshops. We have speed sessions. We have a listening lounge, which is the first time we've introduced that, which will be fabulous. And it's a way to still have sessions with speakers who aren't necessarily able to be there in person, and also open up the opportunity for those who can't attend in person as well to still have a taste of what the World Conference is like. But I'm particularly excited about a session that we have on the Tuesday afternoon. And it was an idea that started as, wouldn't it be amazing if we could look at a problem in this world and look at how communication can help, to really show what communication can do. And so that's evolved, and that is a catalyst for climate. So it's a design sprint that we'll be running. And we're really, really excited about that, because that is something that we'd love to do each year. Look at a major issue or a major problem that the world is faced with and see how communication can be an advocate for change. What can we do about that? So we're really excited about that. It's New York, so we're bringing Broadway to the conference. So I'm very excited about that. We'll be showcasing some of the best in communication with the Gold Quill Award winners. And we've also got some really amazing opportunities for people to sit their certification exams twice, actually. So, you can go to the conference, get your certification and earn your CPD points at the same time, which is a 2-for-1 really. Or three for one if you include the conference as well. So, and the events that we're doing in terms of creating these experiences, we're creating experiences which will connect people. We're doing meetups. We're doing things that is just will showcase New York as well as showcase how we can create that connection, but do it in a safe way as well.
Yep. And if you could look in your crystal ball, for maybe the future of the conference and maybe the direction that, and I think in your as chair have provided some new direction. Where would you like to see the conference in a few years? How could it evolve, be even more maybe impactful on the profession? So I don't know if you had any thoughts on that. That's kind of a big question.
I'm a big fan of Jim Collins and, dreaming big and setting big goals and those big, hairy, audacious goals, and looking at how do you really create something that can gain its momentum and become better and better as we go. So I think that what we're doing is we're pretty much setting up this event to be the event that is the world's leading event for business communication. And for me, that means that it's not just people who work in the profession that will want to attend. It'll be people who are interested in how they can communicate better, who genuinely understand that being good at communication as a non-professional is critical to the success of anyone in business or anyone in an organization, because you need it to align people, you need it to engage people, you need it to perform better, you need it to be able to differentiate a business. So I want people to look at this and say, this is a must-attend event. We need to make sure it's on our schedule of events to go to. It's part of our learning and development program. It's where we go for connection. It's where we go to meet the most diverse people from our profession, the most inspiring people, the brains trust of the profession, and where we can really see what an inclusive community looks like.
Yep.
What about yourself? What are you excited about from the conference? How are you envisioning?
Well, the most basic thing is that it would be great to meet people in person. So since I have started at IABC, I've met very few members in person. So that in itself is pretty exciting. I think the sessions, being able to sit in person, I've watched a number of the webinars that we've hosted, but to really see people interact, that's where I think it's exciting for me to hear those discussions in person and to be able to interact. That's not going to speak for everyone, but it's definitely something that I've been looking forward to. But the other thing I was going to note too, Zora, is that just been really impressed with the work of the Program Advisory Committee. It's your work as chair and just the committee and really thinking through and reimagining elements of this conference. It's been a ton of work. So I'm impressed to see it fully executed. I want to see it, come to when we're there in New York and see the rewards of all that thinking.
This is genuinely, I have worked on a lot of different committees, on most of them with IABC. I can say that this, hand on heart, this is genuinely what I would call a dream team. They're really, they're amazing. They're from all over the world. They've got so many different experiences. They're incredibly passionate. They just want this to be so special. And they're putting in their heart and soul into it. And I'm really thankful and quite grateful to be able to work with such an incredible group of people.
Yeah. So the last question that we usually ask is on our PodCatalyst is a question that rather than asking people what keeps them up at night, what gets you up in the morning. I think I know the answer to this question actually, but I'll let you answer it.
A lot of people who know me or who have met me over Zoom or Teams or whatever will have met my cavoodle, Rusty. And Rusty is the one who does wake me up in the morning with love every single morning without fail. I love that fact. And I call him my EA, which is quite funny. He's loyal. He's there whenever I need him. And he does wake me up and make sure that I go and stretch my legs to take him for a walk. But one of the things that I really love about getting up every day is I'm a very curious person. So I love learning. I just love learning new things. I like being inspired by others. I like to help people where I can and just see people flourish, really. And if I can contribute to that in some way, then I'll put in 100% of my effort to do that.
Yeah. Well, one other thing, I know we have for you a lot of early morning meetings. So I was also thinking IABC may get you up in the morning a few times.
Well, yeah, I could say that. It's actually my very first PAC meeting in whatever year it was, 13 or 14. It was a 5 a.m. wake up. And I just thought, really, is this what life's going to be like at IABC? And over the years, the IABC has learned that, when you include Australians, you do need to adjust your time a little bit. So, 6 a.m. is my earliest these days.
Yeah. Well, I know also with Danielle, our board chair, IAB chair, same boat. Well, we try to make sure that we accommodate as best we can. But I know we've had some really early morning meetings where both you and Danielle have been on. So I appreciate it. Anything else you want to, anything else about World Conference that we can cover?
I think what people should know is, look, the program is covering so many different things. It's got a lot around diversity, equity, inclusion. It has quite a lot about connection, about trust, ethics, metaverse, digital, all sorts of different areas. There are sessions that are skill-based sessions. There are sessions that are provocative. There are sessions that are interactive. There are sessions that will inspire, all sorts of things. So you will definitely learn new things. You'll have the opportunity to share, to meet people, to connect with the speakers and talk with them. There are so many different types of sessions available that we are very conscious that there is something for someone who's at the early phase of the career, as well as someone who's a business leader, and those who are mid-career and that strategic advisor level as well. So we're covering a whole gamut of areas. There's so much that's available. I'm really proud of what we've been able to create.
Yep. Well, Zora, as always, pleasure. Thank you so much for speaking with me. And I know we speak all the time, actually, but no, this has been great. And
I'm really looking forward to seeing you in New York. Thank you.
Thanks so much to Zora for speaking with me. I do hope that was helpful for a lot of people to just better understand what is in store at the World Conference this year in New York City in June, and we hope to see you there. And thanks so much.